The repo rate or the lending rate is the rate at which commercial banks acquire funds from the central bank. That is a transaction that happens between them.
And after that, we'll be discussing so-called pyramid schemes in Namibia and how you can identify and avoid them.
If you want to conduct banking business, you must be authorized by the bank to conduct such business.
In the news tonight, City of Windhoek secures 155 million Namibia dollar loan for new power substation to avoid load shedding.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening, I'm Tonata Kavila in the news tonight. Education budget, a relief to dilapidated infrastructure. SWAPO party members urged to stop fighting for positions. Health Ministry renews partnership with Chinese medical team. Resettled farmers in Irongo pay back 99.5% of rental fees. And Business on One comments corner, sport and the weather. The Trade Union Congress of Namibia, TUCNA, said that the increase in the basic education budget to recruit more teachers as well as build and renovate classrooms will bring relief to the education sector. Similarly, the Students' Union of Namibia, SUN, commended the government and described the increase as a step in the right direction.
The budget allocation comes in light of several schools, including hostels, across the country being in a dilapidated state. The budget will also provide job opportunities for education graduates who have been struggling to find employment.
In the education sector, we have increased the allocation to basic education to 16.8 billion in the next financial year starting in April, and a 51.2 billion over the medium-term expenditure framework. Of these allocations, more than 200 million is earmarked for the recruitment of additional teachers to ensure adequate teacher-learner ratios in classrooms. Moreover, more than 570 million has been availed in the development budget to cater for the construction and renovation of classrooms as well as other education infrastructure such as hostels and offices.
According to TUCNA's Secretary General, Maongora Kavihuha, the budget allocation for the 2023-2024 financial year will lessen the current burden on education if utilized effectively and efficiently. Kavihua stated that the increase will bring about relief as many teachers will be recruited and more schools will be built.
The good part of this year's budget is that it came with specifications that at least there is money appropriated for hiring more teachers in order to ease the burden on the teachers that are already in the profession because of the overcrowdedness of classroom. That money, at least from a physical come with the earmark for that purpose. Also the increase in the infrastructure budget, we are also welcoming that. However, one wonder, with the lack of leadership within the Ministry of Education, whether this budget will be utilized effectively and efficiently. Yes, we have the figures, Are the Ministry of Finance going to release those monies timelessly for the implementers, for them to start implementing? And on the implementer side, as I indicated earlier, is the issues of effectiveness, because the Ministry of Education, and I'm not apologetic for that, it lacked leadership.
The Student Union of Namibia's President Bernard Kavau stated that the allocated budget shows the effort to prioritize education. Kavau urged the education top officials to focus more on advancing skills and research that will better the education sector in the country. Kavau made these remarks at a press conference that was held last Friday in Windhoek.
We think that is a step moving forward. It shows that we are prioritizing education. However, we are of the view now that since the budget has been increased, we are cautioning that those in authority should not be honeymoon now, where they have to travel left, right centers to collect S&T. We are saying this budget should focus on the training of skills that are needed at this time. We also want them to elevate research standard, research in our country, generally basic and applied research science, research that gives Namibian a foot in the highway of tapping and harnessing the service of the 4th and 5th Industrial Revolution. We want the use of scientific research to inform education and training planning, implementation and monitoring in our country. We are saying monitoring, it's because there is always no accountability when it comes within the education sector.
Swipe on it and win! Come bank with us and stand a chance to win the grand prize of an eco-friendly hybrid vehicle or one of 40 fuel vouchers worth 40,000 Namibian dollars.
Full tank, I believe.
To enter, simply make any purchase using your Bank Vintage Visa debit or credit card between the 1st of October 2022 and the 31st of March 2023. With your Bank Vintage Visa card in hand, let's journey together with every swipe. Visit bankvintage.com.na for more information. Protect yourself against fraud and never share your PIN. T's and C's apply. Bank Vintage, a member of Capricorn Group.
SWAPO party members from Windhoek Rural were urged to refrain from infighting following the district leader John Elago's election to the party Central Committee. Elago has been elevated in the party ranks, leaving a vacuum at the district level. Members of the Central Committee, Toby Aupindi and Hofni Ipinge, who had both requested party members to maintain unity, made these remarks at the event held on Saturday, where they celebrated Elago's election to the Central Committee.
For nearly 2 decades, John Elago served the SWAPO party in Windhoek Rural as section and branch leader and later as a district coordinator. As fellow Central Committee members, including Toby Aupindi, welcomed Elago to the party's highest decision-making body. They encouraged the leaders at Groot Hoop to maintain cohesion and remain resolute on retaking the constituency, which is now under the fold of the Landless People's Movement Party.
So we must never allow tribalism to divide us. And you know what I want to see in the SWAPO comments? I want to see us talking very tough. Because we are SWAPO. The embodiment of Namibia's revolution and national independence is entrenched in our soul. And therefore talk tough in these meetings. But once the meeting ends, like we talk tough and we campaign heavily ahead of the Congress. But when the Congress is over, we must unite and know that we are only one SWAPO.
SWAPO Party Youth League Secretary for Education and Central Committee member Hofni Ipinge also shared the same sentiments as Aupindi and urged Groot Hoop residents not to shy away from taking their concerns to local leaders who form part of the Central Committee.
We must not fight. I know very soon we'll have an extraordinary, I don't know, when he's leaving, if he wishes to. Please, I don't want to hear any infight in this district. I know he's been here, he grouped already leaders,
And whoever was groomed to take over, please let's take, support that comrade to take over and lead us. This thing of throwing stones to each other should come to an end because it will put our party really into dispute. And I'm happy to see a lot of comrades are here from different branches who came to support or to celebrate the achievement of our comrades. So those who like this are here. And I'm not saying those who are not here, they don't like this. It's because of many, many different responsibilities, also of the same, equally important responsibilities. But please, let's try to support leaders. Leaders are elected. You elected them. You elect us, you squeeze us in the corner, you start throwing stones to us. I don't know now. Please don't do that. Let's not fight. Let's assist each other, and together we can do better.
Elago was elected at the party's 7th Congress last year. He attributed his achievements to the community he grew up in and led for many years in various structures. This is what Elago had to say about his successor ahead of upcoming conference that is expected to take place in July this year.
This is not just about me, it's a door that is open for the district. Because if you look countrywide, people don't believe that you can challenge for a national position from a rural district. And this is a good example for the youth in the rural not to look down upon themselves, but to believe in themselves. Hopefully, whoever is elected will be elected, but I will be happy to hand over to people that have been in the structure, that have served the party, and that understand the dynamics of Vendukurura. Not necessarily people that are just looking for positions.
Groot Oop is a settlement located 40 kilometers south of the capital and was incorporated into Windhoek in 2017.
Renewing the Chinese medical teams in Namibia initiative at the Katutura Central Hospital in Windhoek last week, the Minister of Health and Social Services, Dr. Kalumbi Shangula, welcomed the 15th team to the country. The Chinese medical teams have since 1996 been sent to Namibia to assist in the provision of health care, and they have also enriched service delivery in local health facilities.
Health Minister Dr. Kalumbi Shangula said the presence of the Chinese medical team in state health facilities has enriched the services delivered to patients, including acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. Shangula was speaking while bidding farewell to the 14th Chinese medical team who returned to China. The minister praised the team for remarkable contributions towards the fight against COVID-19. Similarly, the minister also welcomed the 4th medical team to Namibia.
I recall the first few weeks following the announcement of the index cases of COVID-19 in Namibia. There was quite a lot of uncertainty and trepidation, not just in Namibia, but all over the world. This was because nothing much was known about the novel coronavirus at the time. However, the manner in which the People's Republic of China committed to mobilizing resources and providing leadership in the global response to COVID-19 was a source of great comfort to Namibia.
The Chinese ambassador to Namibia, Zhao Weiping, stated that this year marks the 60th anniversary of the dispatch of Chinese medical teams to developing countries for the promotion of international friendship.
Chinese President Xi Jinping personally attached great importance to this project. And he recently wrote back a letter to the Chinese medical team in the Central African Republic, expressing his appreciation to their work and encouraged them to provide an even better service for the local people. I'm very happy to note that the project of the Chinese medical team in Namibia has become a special part of China-Namibia friendship. I was told that since 1996. The successive of Chinese medical teams in Namibia treated thousands of the local patients every year, and many of them spoke highly of the loving care they received.
According to Shangula, many young Namibians studied in China and have acquired qualifications in China in various health disciplines such as medicine, dentistry, and pharmacy, amongst others.
Stay warm in style with comfy crew necks from Pep. Casual and cozy men's or women's fleece crew necks for only $139.99. Now that's an incredible price you can warm up to. Life's better with Pep.
Farmers in the Irongo region have been praised for having paid back over 99% of rental fees for the financial year 2022-23. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform recently announced that the region had collected $106,200 worth of resettlement farms rental fees.
The Deputy Executive Director of the Line Ministry, Penda Ithindi, said that the ministry is pleased with the commitment of farmers in honoring the conditions of their lease agreements and encouraged other farmers to follow in their footsteps. Ithindi spoke at a farmers' networking day in Omaruru last week, saying that 58 farming units were leased to resettled farmers, out of which 41 paid their leases, generating the 99.5% return. He also announced that the ministry has completed the resettlement policy, which will allow resettled farmers to become owners of the allocated land and no longer be bound by a lease agreement.
One is to move away from mere leasing of the resettlement farms to actual ownership. And that is an impactful reform in the view of the government and ourselves, that now these land pieces are not just leased for 99 years or so, but they are owned, and therefore true empowerment, which the wealth effect of it needs to be actualized through implementation of real economic activities.
Ithindi further stated that the ministry seeks to invest the returns made from the rental payments towards mitigating the challenges faced by the Irongo resettlement farmers. These challenges include fencing problems, boundary disputes, irregular rainfall patterns, vandalism by community members, poor rangeland management, and illegal subletting by beneficiaries.
A challenge that we must deal with, and we need all the growth points in the economy to generate the necessary jobs, to generate the necessary self-employment, so that we defeat this scourge and put it on a declining trend. Equity is a necessary condition because it's a driver for sustainable growth in the agricultural sector. And also other means of livelihoods, because access to land enables a lot of other economic activity.
The governor of the Irongo region, Neville Andre Itope, corroborated Ithindi's sentiments and expressed gratitude to the ministry for its efforts in assisting resettled farmers.
The various sessions will enable us to discuss issues which are important for farming purposes and also gain insight on matters affecting the region. I would like therefore to thank the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform officials in the Irongo region for this initiative that they called us to allow organizations and resettled farmers to come together and share information with regard to land reform and agriculture.
Great deals from Choppies.
Shoppies, great deals for your money.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. The presidential spokesperson Alfredo Hengari reiterated that the recently tabled budget focuses on protecting the vulnerable sectors of the population. Hengari recently visited One Africa Television, where he, amongst others, touched on the launch of IDs for travel between Namibia and Botswana, as well as the recently tabled national budget.
Our budget is one that focuses on economic growth and sustainability, as well as the vulnerable sectors of our population. As I've mentioned, President Geingob doubled the old age pension in 2016 from 600 to 1,200. And in the budget, the old age pension will go up by another 100 because it has been at 1,300 last year, and it will go to 1,400. So it means more money in the pockets of our elderly citizens, and more money in the pockets of elderly citizens also means better livelihoods for the grandchildren that some of our elderly people look after. So that's the focus. It's about poverty eradication through cash injections into the pockets of the elderly sectors, sections of our population. But there's also another aspect that is quite important. The disability grant last year was below 300 for those below the age of 18. In the budget, it has been more than tripled. It's over 1,400. So that's the focus of this budget, is to ensure a good balance between economic growth, economic activity, but also protecting the vulnerable who have been hurt during what has been a very difficult period for our country. COVID-19, droughts, commodity crises, you name them. But the vulnerable sectors of our population are more or less adequately catered for. We are one of the few countries in Africa that has social protection mechanisms in its budget. And that demonstrates the willingness and the commitment of government to ensure there is a certain form of equality between those who don't have and those who have.
That is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
And there is one thing we all love to do, to gather around an open fire in a space that breaks down the barriers and walls between us and connects us to each other. We love to braai.
Ultimate Braai Master, coming to One Africa this February 26th. From 6:30 p.m., we're serving up good times, delicious food, and ice-cold Coke. A recipe for magic.
Now a look at the Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. Windhoek City Police Service intercepted 4 foreign nationals who are suspected of buying stolen electronic devices through an intelligence-led operation. It's alleged the men were in possession of electronic devices worth 450,000 Namibia dollars, which they go and resell in neighboring countries. Lucas asked, what if a person lost their receipt since the laptop was bought 10 years ago? Tangeni expressed gratitude to the law enforcement for a job well done. David wants to know if there is any other means to show proof of ownership. Poppy said without proof it's best not to go to the police station. Joel applauded the municipal police. That is all from the Comments Corner. Be sure to engage on our stories on our social media pages for broadcast on News on One. And now for a look at what's happening on the sport front. The Namibian Debmarine Premiership League resumed on Saturday with the Black Africa Football Club taking on the African Stars Football Club at the University of Namibia Stadium in Windhoek. The game between the all-time rivals ended in a draw with no team producing a goal to progress in the league.
Thousands of fans stand up to witness the second leg clash between the two Katutura football giants, African Stars Football Club and Black Africa Football Club, which ended in a goalless draw on Saturday at the University of Namibia Stadium in Windhoek after the two clubs both failed to register a goal to secure 3 points. African Stars Football Club's coach, Mervyn Bakera, told Sport on One that the match only needed 1 goal from his side. However, his team was not clinical enough.
We just needed to be clinical enough. This game just needed 1 goal from our side. Unfortunately, it couldn't come. So the low block that was set, we needed to go around it. But we didn't have the precision, especially when it came, when we took them wide and we brought them in. The precision there was one of the things that was a downfall. But
in an interview with Sport on One, Black Africa Football Club's head coach, Brian Isaacs, expressed that he is more than satisfied with his team's performance in the second leg match compared to the recent 6-2 defeat they suffered in the first leg.
Yes, it was a good performance. You can look at the result. We played 0-0. We created changes. Our defensive behavior has improved dramatically. It was a good competitive game. I'm very proud of my boys because they come of age, and now we can start competing in the second round. Thank you.
Mervyn Bakera added that his team needs to meet the international standards of playing football as they are better than the performance they put out in the derby.
We need the international standard of 2 points per match. So we are on set for the weekend, so we fight. Congratulations to both teams. I think Black Africa also came out very dedicated.
African Stars Football Club, however, managed to secure 3 points after winning 1-0 against Young African Football Club on Saturday.
That's all the sport news we had for you. Please stay tuned for the weather forecast. We have come to the end of tonight's edition of News on One. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. From me, Tonata Kadila, and the rest of the team, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are